Kevin Durant. You know who I am.
Curry, way downtown. Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. Is this the dagger?
Davis 4-3 in the win. Oh, it's good!
Week 1, full of ups and downs. I wonder what week 2 will hold. Robots bleed 50-point halftime leads and the king gets blocks from behind will all be discussed on the #BallisBayNBA podcast, your favorite NBA podcast in an Indian accent. We're back with episode 2, and if you're looking for episode 1, the link will be somewhere here. You have to put the link there, okay? Yes, there. Magic are off to the usual 3-0 start to the season. Angelius, Pacers, Hawks, all unbeaten in the East, and Giannis needs to work on his free throws. Speaking of the charity stripe, I've got with me as always someone who believes charity is for suckers, money is for education, and syrup is for cuffs. My co-host Vineet Devaya. Vineet, welcome back to the pod. How was your first week of the NBA?
My first week of the NBA was quite good. I watched most of the games because we are coming up with a new quote unquote segment. So I have to watch the shitty teams play before I can make some analysis. Yeah. So it was good. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of injuries, but otherwise, overall, yeah, positive. Happy that the NBA is back. Some good games. Some really pathetic games like the Clippers and Dallas Mavericks game. That was just like, oh my god. I mean, I don't think like it was a normal game because that was just ridiculous. But otherwise, yeah, pretty good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I've been traveling this week, so I couldn't catch all of the games. I caught the Christmas Day games, and that's most of the Christmas Day games, and I think opening day game, the Nets versus the Warriors. I think those games I saw most of them. Nets looking as good as I thought, and I think I underrated the Hawks a little bit too much. I think they could be in the 5 or 6 sort of at least by the looks of it in the beginning. But then
5 or 6? What do you mean?
5 or 6 in the East. I think they could.
Who?
The Nets. I mean the Hawks.
Atlanta Hawks. Yeah. Oh, bold prediction. You start the pod with a bold prediction.
Not a bold prediction. They've been scoring a lot of points. Let's see. It's a scoring sort of team. It's a scoring sort of league. So I think that'll be right. We have a special guest with us, Vineet, and we have to do some mumbo jumbo to get him here. Our main guest for tonight is none other than, I hope in the final edition also he's on this side, Aditya Pandey, the main man at NBA Dab. Aditya, welcome to the pod. We are extremely glad that you could join us.
Likewise, man. I have been watching your podcasts, not frequently, but I do drop by.
You meant frequently. You just meant frequently. It's not.
Yeah.
You meant frequently.
Definitely frequently.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant.
You just wanted to be very sure, and that's why you said not frequently, but you are watching frequently.
In fact, I was there when we were sort of having a conversation with these guys. I think, who was it? Bruce Bowen, was it? And I saw you guys there as well, and that's why like, oh, these guys are there. So, yeah.
Yes. And I think you were there at NBA India games also, right? I mean, I've seen your photo where you were photobombing Larry Bird, I think.
Right. So, I mean, I recognize you guys there as well, and I was very, very incognito back then during the Bruce Bowen interview. But I mean, I hoped to sort of have this conversation with you just to sort of tell you guys that you guys are doing some really good work.
Thank you so much, man.
So it's all credit to Ashwin. Ashwin's the brains behind this whole operation.
I mean, it takes one to know one, man. It really gets very, very difficult to sort of keep in touch with your passion, right? And in the kind of sort of like as content creators, the kind of feedback everyone sort of earns for, it gets very difficult when you just have to stay consistent, and that's one very big issue with me. I have to agree. But you guys have been very, very consistent, and I just appreciate that truly.
Thank you so much, especially coming from the. I think like as far as interaction with fans is there. Like NBA Dime has the most interactive fans. Like they will talk about this thing, and I keep trying to find who are these people in real life who will go online and talk on Instagram, and they are all on your ESPN pages. They are all on Stephen A. Smith pages. But somehow you found that little niche. Tell us about how your journey with basketball started. I know you worked for GQ or I've read something. So just give us a little bit of intro about you.
Right. So I used to be a basketball player. I have played for Haryana. Then I,
Out, all cheaters.
I,
Everyone's 21 and above for their under 15 teams.
they have kids, man. The people who are playing in the under 18 tournament, they have kids. They're grown ass men.
Right?
And
Cheaters, man.
that's just I mean, there's no denying that fact. But then my knees were all messed up. I have this issue in my knees since birth. I couldn't walk until I was in class 2, but then somehow we sort of worked on that, and then I started playing basketball for state. Now, ever since my knees got messed up, I wanted to sort of stay in touch with the game somehow. So I started my YouTube, which I did not expect, but that kind of picked up really well. I got around 18,000 subscribers in a couple of months. A couple of videos went viral. So that's how. But the thing was, most of my audience was they were from the States, and I mean, it doesn't feel the same, right? Even though the Instagram page does not have a lot of followers right now, but the kind of interaction you can have with these guys, Hindi, English, you can maybe abuse in Hindi a couple of times. It's just different, right? You get what these. So that was missing, and I mean, then obviously I started working, so the YouTube page sort of took a backseat. But then it's just somewhere, what passion feels like, right? Just want to sort of stay in touch with it somehow, regardless of what you're doing. So that's how I started the Insta page as well. And now, just like you said, I have managed to get that very small niche, but a niche nonetheless. And I'm very very appreciative of the fact that these guys actually love to talk about basketball, and I just feel, I mean, amazing. Like a lot of guys, to my acceptance, a lot of guys know a lot more than me, and I definitely get schooled all the time. But I can take that, man. Anything in the name of interaction and good content.
I mean, if they're not arguing, then they're not passionate enough.
I think the only interaction I've had with you was when I think something to do with Kobe, and then you said something really smart that even Ashwin won't say, being a diehard Kobe fan, is that, like, I think you said something to the effect of, like, when I was young, I was a Kobe fan, but now I know better, or something like that, something to that effect, where it was more like you have understood the game now and you're not as as big.
I say a lot of shit. I say a lot of shit, and I get schooled all the time. It's just, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things. But I'm sure you must be right.
So, which year did you play for Haryana?
This was in 2010, 2011.
Oh, he's very young. Okay. Maybe he played during the time when I could have. Okay.
Cool.
No, I don't know. I mean, I know a couple of players from Haryana, so I was just thinking maybe.
Right. I mean, there's this basketball court. There's the stadium Tao Devilal. Have you ever been to Gurgaon? Are you guys from Gurgaon?
No.
I have been to Gurgaon. I've done many bike trips from Noida to Gurgaon when I was. Yeah.
Noida to Gurgaon for a bike trip.
Okay. With my Victor, man.
Okay.
So these guys just sort of, we used to all practice at 5 in the morning every single day, and there's this one floodlight on top of that basketball court, and that's just how it was. And that was our very tiny but very lovable world. That's where we spent our childhood. But it was amazing.
Right. And how did you manage to, like, get into the Haryana state team, being like, considering the fact that they're all grown as men and you seem to be much younger compared to them? Like, what role did you play? Were you point guard? I mean, I don't know how tall you are, but I would imagine.
Well, I'm pretty short, but then a lot of short Haryana players used to play the 1 or 2 position. So I was
Okay.
mostly second guard, and I was, as they said, I was on the 45 angle position. That's what they used to say here. So stand up area. So that's where I used to sort of operate. And luckily, I got a fair chance because my school coach used to coach the Haryana team. And
See, all. Ah,
So those guys, I mean, they really give me an opportunity, and I have been kind of like when I used to play, I was not fat, but I've always been on a very broader side. So for that, I used to, I mean, run and jump, unlike people would expect me to. Like,
surprise.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why people call me Zion. But I don't know why,
Oh,
but that was it.
yeah,
So,
yeah, I remember that.
So I have to tell you guys about that as well, but later that will come later, I hope. But this because of my unexpected agility and jumping ability, a lot of these guys were sort of willing to give me a shot, and that's how I got.
Nice.
Okay. We will get back to you in a while, but right now let's talk about the NBA in the NBA podcast.
Right.
Yes, Aditya, what's your impression of the first week? We had the opening day, we had Christmas Day, we did
Right.
we had some injuries. We saw that Kawhi Leonard can bleed, which is already side, and a 50-point halftime lead. Like, what do you make of this pretty chaotic opening week?
So my biggest observation throughout these games has been that you can't take the Brooklyn Nets lightly. I mean, I was wondering how good or bad KD would be, but the guy is just the same. I mean, other than the fact that Steph is not there and he's not playing in the golden jersey, he's just the same KD for some reason, and it's incredible. He's running across the court. He is blocking people out of the stadium. It's just amazing. So. And then Kyrie, of course, is there. I just the other day I was watching. I think it was yesterday's game. Kyrie just made back-to-back three shots, which were very, very unorthodox. Like that's not how people normally take a layup or go for a jump shot. So in Brooklyn Nets, you can't take for granted. And then about the Golden State Warriors is more of a heartbreak. I mean, you can see Steph doing a lot of things that he did during his MVP season, but it's just, I mean, Kelly Oubre and this guy and Andrew Wiggins, these guys can't shoot, man. They can't shoot for their life.
Yeah.
So it's just heartbreak. I mean,
So would you say that Klay Thompson was the most important player in that Golden State Warriors team? I'm not saying best player. I'm saying the most important. It's just my pet peeve to bring Klay Thompson into everything.
I would still think it would be Draymond.
Out.
Yeah. I mean, this is the kind of shit that I say, and then I get those kind of views. But believe me, like I'm talking about the time when KD was not there, and that.
Yeah. I mean, when KD was there, it was like.
But I think Draymond was the guy who sort of held these two elite shooters together, right? Because it's very like how many shots can one elite shooter give up for the other guy? So that's when I thought that Draymond sort of held these guys together and held the entire team together and sort of made them a successful squad.
But then you're saying that if Draymond comes back, Warriors are going to start.
But now he's a very different Draymond than back then. He's been through injuries. He's obviously gotten old. I'm pretty sure with Klay not being there in the team, at least for this year, the Warriors will sort of work towards revamping themselves. And I think they would want to sell off Draymond. But then again, this is like he's entering his first year of the $100 million contract, so it's kind of difficult to put him on the market. I guess not a lot of teams would want to buy him. I think Sacramento would be one of them, but who would they give in return? Harrison Barnes? I don't think so. Also, I don't think the Warriors would want Barnes again.
Barnes back, yeah.
Yeah.
Barnes is a good friend of our show, by the way. By good friend, I mean he has come on
He
our
will
show.
become on the show for sure.
He has? Whoa, nice. I interviewed him when he was here.
Yeah, same thing.
That's what
That's how.
he's a very,
That's what.
very tall guy. Very nice guy.
Yeah, and pretty chilled out as well.
Yeah, I asked him about are you better, like who will you pick, KD or LeBron? And he's like, I'm not answering that.
Kawhi.
Kawhi or KD, and he's like, no, I'm not answering that. You guys are trying to start something. I don't want to get involved in that. Very, who knows what he wants.
Yeah, man. It's more of a hard read to catch. Yeah, definitely.
The Nets though lost. I think Nets.
Charlotte.
Yeah.
They lost to the Grizzlies.
Oh, they
No,
lost to the Grizzlies.
Charlotte. It was Charlotte.
No, they lost to Charlotte when Rozier dunked on him. They lost to Grizzlies because I don't think Kevin Durant played that game today.
Yeah. No, I don't think so, man.
Rozier is in Charlotte.
Rozier is in Charlotte, yeah. So they lost that game. I think, okay, maybe they haven't played that game. Yeah, maybe that's.
Yeah. So that was yesterday's game. That's when, and it was so. To be honest, regardless of how good Charlotte has been, yesterday's game was like, some days when the entire team is on a roll, right? So that was more of a game for Charlotte yesterday, and regardless of how good KD and Kyrie were, everything these guys were doing was actually sort of working in their favor. So that's how
I love that about the NBA. Like some days the best team finds it impossible to beat the New York Knicks. I mean, Giannis's team.
Exactly, right. And yesterday was a very different day altogether. Like weird shit was happening. So I mean, it's one of those very, very exceptional days in the history of the game.
We need what team is it that has it would be like, oh yes, this team right now is doing exactly what I said they would do.
What I said they would do, man. I would say maybe Dallas. I think Dallas is playing really well. They had a couple of bad games, but I think generally their offense is pretty good. Luka is playing at a very high level. I really like Dallas for a couple of reasons. One is I think that Luka is great, and the second thing is for all these years that I've been in the NBA, I've loved Dirk and Tim, and I've always supported the Spurs over the Mavs because I just love the Spurs. I used to hate myself every time the Spurs and Mavs used to play. And now that the Spurs are shit, I can give a little bit of love to Mavs and say, you know what, Mavs is playing really good. So all of this is one of those when I say Mavs are playing really well, it's mostly me trying to create some kind of narrative around Luka's MVP season. Hopefully they give us a chance to vote this time for the MVP.
Well, obviously they're almost at 50 episodes. That's surely for something.
Other than that, other than Mavs, I think everyone's kind of feeling out the game. I mean, the Nets obviously, KD is come out blazing, just ridiculous. Obviously, Kyrie is doing what Kyrie does, but when you have KD on the other hand, you can't really double Kyrie. You can't really do anything. So I just feel like as much as I think when we discussed it, you had Nets at 3, right? Ashwin?
Had Nets at 3 in the NBA and 1 in.
And I had 5. I had it at 5. I think 4 or 5. So I think I'm still going to keep them there. I'm still going to keep them 4 or 5. I still don't see them being as consistent because Kyrie has played in very good teams and he has shown that he's not the most consistent player in the world. Maybe if things change. And I also believe that after all these injuries that have happened to so many players, the Nets are going to be super careful about KD.
My favorite name of last year, Spencer Dinwiddie,
is gone.
He's gone for the season, ACL.
And did you read the post he put up about how I don't know, if you go to his Instagram page, he's written about how he had a similar injury in college and he came back and he's going to come back even stronger. It was very touching.
But it's a partial tear, right? That might not be as bad as some of the worst that we've heard of. Also, what's even more terrifying to sort of experience is that Steve Nash said that KD is, I guess, around 85% of the player he used to be.
We expected 70% KD to be there, but it felt good. But that means 100 is still there, right?
That means, and you have around 70 more games to sort of reach that 100% mark, and that's just terrifying for the rest of the league. Also, I was just listening to this podcast where these guys just break down KD's shooting mechanics, and it's just one of those things that tall, big guys like KD and Dirk used to do. Is just that they're so tall that it does not matter who's defending you. It might be the best defender in the league. Those guys can do just so many things to sort of try their best to stop them, but they'll shoot and make them anyway. So
Yeah.
you
can't do. I mean,
I don't think you can defend them with like just putting a hand up. You have to be like a Chris Paul just harassing him, or a Tony Allen. I remember Tony Allen used to harass him a lot in the OKC.
Yeah, and I think KD also said that the best defender to ever defend him was Tony Allen. So
I think even Kobe said that. But like you can't let him be stable. You have to be like, push him away from that. Otherwise, it's just too easy for him. I mean, you know who he is. He's KD. Anyway,
I
thank you for the team, since none of you are caring enough to ask me for my own opinion on this.
Yes, you tell your opinion. Your opinion is always the most important.
No.
The question. I think for me, I think I may have put Atlanta Hawks like at the 8th place in the East, but I think not just because of their 3-0 start, but I think they're gonna score a lot of points and have a lot of fun scoring those points. Main man Trae Young has come back just like he went last year. Just shoot. He's gonna do his thing. I think Atlanta Hawks 5-4. They could be really that good. And
5-4, huh?
5 or 4. I think
this seems like one of Ashwin's Boston Celtics type predictions.
No more Celtics. No more putting money on the Celtics. They have ruined my credibility in this place. Yeah.
Also, there's another team that's off to a very, very good start that nobody had expected. The Cleveland Cavaliers. They are 3-0.
That's an Hindenburg waiting to happen. I'm just.
I mean, you know that it's just a 10 game thing, and after that, they're the typical Cleveland Cavaliers without LeBron. But right now, it just feels like everything is working out for them. Sexton is doing pretty good. Andre is doing well, and they managed to keep Kevin Love, so that's a plus point nonetheless. We just gotta.
They have a Drummond. Drummond is, I think, the rebounds and steals leader through the first in these first 10 days.
Steals leader to steals?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I mean, rebounds I can see. He's usually in the top 3.
He's usually at the top, yeah. You can guess who the assist leader is, Vineet. He's one of your players.
One of my favorite players?
He's your favorite player.
My favorite player? Kawhi Leonard?
What? No, Nikola Jokic.
Oh, Jokic.
14 assists per game.
Jokic is just too good, man. It's just too good. He's really too good. I mean, I wish Jokic and Luka play in the same team. I wish like there's some trade where like Jamal Murray and all, they just throw them to fucking Mavs or send the other way.
Send all those people, Michael Porter Jr., everyone to Nuggets, and then send Luka. Oh, yeah.
No, send Kristaps Porzingis and all of those. And then get Nikola.
All the American players on the Mavs to Nuggets and get this one European player. Just as it is, they're going for an international team.
I think, Aditya, you let me know what you think about this. Like for the All-Star game, what do you think about best of USA versus the best of non-USA instead of an East versus West?
They have that, right? USA versus the world.
No, that's I think a rookie and sophomore thing, right? I meant like for the main event.
You want it to happen.
USA versus the world. I think there are enough players on the.
I think there are enough players to sort of organize something.
Who would be in your top 5 in the rest of the world?
Giannis, Luka, Jokic.
Yeah. Jokic definitely, yeah.
And then 2 more people.
Joel Embiid. Yes, definitely. Ben Simmons.
I mean, who would you rather have as your point guard? Luka or Simmons?
Luka, come on.
Luka, right? Because Ben Simmons is sort of point.
Yeah, I'm just naming the good
Yeah.
non-US players.
I tell you, let's pick Andrew Wiggins. Why not?
Oh, whoa.
Oh God.
And just kill the entire match, and that's it. That's it.
Like Andrew Wiggins is very, very weird, man. Like he actually has a lot of talent, but I don't know what and why he does not perform or why he's so inconsistent. I don't get it. I understand that Timberwolves was a shitty franchise. I hope that the Golden State Warriors like carve out a role for him because he is a talented person. Like he
But
can
what
get
will his role be in the Warriors? Like he's like a DeRozan sort of. I'll take 2 pointers. He's horrible at 3 pointers.
Yeah. I think he can be a consistent 15 to 20 point, like a what's that guy's name, man? Who was Sean Livingston kind of player.
Definitely.
Sean Livingston was so important, so fucking important for that entire Warriors team. I think he can do that. He can always get his bucket. He can always get that. But he just needs, I don't know, there's something about him. Maybe he got too much money. He got a massive contract as soon as he joined. And, I think $190 million contract or something, right? Something ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
I don't understand why would they pay so much for someone like Wiggins. Anyhow,
but I think the whole point was they wanted to create a package for Giannis. That was the whole point of like having all these assets and like basically trying to get Giannis. But then once Giannis signed with the Bucks, it's just like, okay, let's just roll the dice with what we have.
but who would you have traded for Giannis from the Warriors?
I think they would have done like maybe some picks. I think they have a lot of picks. They have this guy Andrew Wiggins and all this stuff. I don't know. I really don't know.
They don't go Green. I don't think that's going to be enough for. They'll need at least Clay or Steph.
Yeah, either Clay or Steph would have gone, and I don't think the Warriors would have wanted that if Clay was healthy. Now there's no point. Anyhow,
would you trade Clay if you were the Warriors?
it depends on in which direction would they want to go. For me, if they really want to reinvent like the Spurs did, they somehow managed to stay relevant for so long, even when Duncan was not there and even when Manu was not there. They just started reinventing themselves as soon as they realized that something was going wrong. And they did not sort of hold back in trading away their main assets. Parker, they let go of, albeit at the end of his career. So I think even if they want to really reinvent, then even Steph would be on block. It depends, man.
I don't think Steph is going to go anywhere.
It depends on what you get in return. Let's just say a lot of teams, the tanking definitely works, right? I think James Wiseman would also be on the block if they get something decent.
Oh my God, you're in the bust category. You're like, just blow it up.
Yeah, exactly. Because you look at Steph and you can't help but feel sorry for him.
Why do you feel sorry for him? I don't feel sorry for him at all. I feel like this is his challenge. He needs to like step up. He is probably the third best player in the last decade. Let's consider LeBron 1, maybe KD 2. I think Steph is 3. So why not? Why feel sorry for him? A guy like Dirk carried an absolute trash team for like 10 years, and he had like 50 win seasons for 12 years straight, and he had like the most shittiest team around him for most of the time. So I think that you can't feel sorry for these guys because they are NBA players, they're professionals, they are paid a lot of money, and they have to step up. They have to be. I feel like the level at which we keep Steph at, which is, he is a top 30 player of all time already. He should be able to prove that he can take a bunch of scrubs in the Western Conference to the playoffs. Forget 50-win teams that Dirk did. That was just monumental what Dirk did for that fucking Mavs team, which was absolute trash. Right. So I think that, and the West was very loaded at that point also. So it wasn't like there were shitty teams in the West. So I don't give, like, when you reach that kind of elite level, right? Like LeBron, like no one is going to look at LeBron and say, oh shit, like he wasn't able to get 50-win teams. He was consistently going into the playoffs, consistently performing. So I think otherwise. I think that this is a chance and opportunity for Steph to rise up and take that trashy team into the playoffs and make some noise. I don't think we should feel bad for sorry for him. That's what I feel.
So my thing is that one, we often compare when there's this one superstar on the team, and we often compare that guy to, let's say, a LeBron or a Westbrook. Those guys managed to take their teams to the playoffs, and even
LeBron and Westbrook.
I mean, in terms of context, how this one guy sort of managed to take their team to the playoffs, and LeBron obviously to the championship. But see, the thing is how, regardless of how bad the rest of the players were, they always had that one guy who would have handled the situation when this guy was not there. For LeBron, it was Kevin Love, even though he did not have the best season. For Westbrook, there was always Adams. For Curry, do you not think the team Curry has right now is worse than LeBron's Cavs or Westbrook's OKC?
No, LeBron's previous Cavs teams were absolute trash. From 2003, 2004 to 2010. Absolute trash.
I'm not talking about that. Back then
he took those teams to the playoffs and 50-win teams for the most part.
That's a different LeBron altogether, and people often sort of underrate him for what he did back then before he went for
Right.
this. But I'm talking about this Cavs run to the championship when they had this guy Kevin Love with them. I'm talking about that guy.
Yeah,
Also,
but that's not. That's not what I'm trying to get at. I'm trying to get, like, let's compare. A good comparison, and I know both of you are Kobe fans. Is like always, the Kobe fans will say, oh, this, between 2003 to 2007, whenever like they sucked, right? They didn't have anybody. That Smush Parker, blah blah blah. And I always tell them, there was a team right next to them, the Mavs, that had a pretty shitty team.
Yeah.
Mavs, I think for 10 years they had like 2 All-Star players that went to the All-Star game once, which is, I think, Mike Finley and I think maybe early Jason Kidd. And so it was, so when you're an elite player, when you're considered the most important offensive weapon in the NBA, I don't think you get a pass, not because it's just basketball in the end of the day. Like, you can take a pass. I mean, he's absolutely rich and he's done whatever the fuck he wants to do. But I don't think he gets a pass. If he wants to prove himself and wants to stay in that, rarefied air, he has to do it for himself also, I feel. Like, if I was in his position, I would feel like I need to do it for myself, because I've always had Klay Thompson. I've always had a great system. I've always had great players around me. And so, now that I don't, I want to prove to myself that I can at least take a team to the playoffs. So I just don't buy that, because there are no, if you look at the other teams, after you see, you have the Clippers, Lakers, Nuggets, right? And then the rest of the teams are, very.
Got it, Vineet. Got it. We have heard your tones for a long time. We are getting complaints from the remaining people. I think if Westbrook can take that OKC team to the 6th seed, then I think Steph should be able to do at least an 8th seed, at least to the playoff. 50 games, 40 games, whatever it takes. He has to be able to, because purely because of the offensive power that he is. Like, Westbrook was you would not really call him. I mean, that season he shot amazing. He did whatever he wanted to. But Steph is an amazing shooter. Is an amazing offensive threat.
Best shooter of all time.
Best shooter of all time, without doubt. Yeah, whatever. Catch and shoot, dribble and shoot, pop and just whatever. He is the best shooter out there. So the offense should be built in such a way that that maximizes Steph's success, Steph's scoring. Like, just let Steph score. Why do other people need to score? I think Steph should be able to do that. At least Steve Kerr should be able to build a system that way. Otherwise, what's the point of just losing games without even trying hard? I'll tell you something.
2 more points here, guys. One,
Not even one more point.
One, I think Steph needs to be healthy for the rest of the season, which has been a problem for him if they really want to have the playoff run. And second, I think Steph needs to be a lot more aggressive when we talk about Westbrook, what he did during those years. He was a ball hog. He used to get the rebounds. He used to assist whenever he was done scoring his double-digit points. So I think that's what Steph needs to do right now. If you watch some of his games, if you watch the game against the Nets, there were moments when Steph was just standing at the corner like a random player, not a superstar, not the superstar we know him for. And guys like Oubre and Wiggins was just sort of chucking bricks from beyond the arc. So these guys need, I mean, Curry, for example, they need that sort of organized chaos within the team. I mean, let Curry shoot 35 shots a game. Why not? Why not? He has proven himself to be the kind of shooter who can do that. Who
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with that. I think he should shoot 35 shots and like. I just want Curry to go crazy. Like he's such an amazing. Like the 2016 run was just so. Oh my god. Incredible.
400 threes, man. 400 threes.
Ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, I just hope he goes for like 600 threes or something like that.
We'll come back to Aditya, your this DAB page. Does DAB mean anything? Does DAB mean something, or is it?
Yeah, DAB, bro.
So this was very very lame. When I started my YouTube channel, that was when the dab move was very famous,
Okay.
and that's just it.
That's just
No other explanation to it.
there'll be some short form like
No, man.
dynamic, aggressive basketball.
I was a school student, man. I just wanted to make videos. I did not care about the name. It was just catchy. It stuck to you. I mean, NBA dab. It's snappy. It's short. It's sort of stuck with people. And that's about it. I did not give it a lot of thought. I'm just being very, very honest with you guys.
And what about like what made you think that like memes are a way to catch attention? Like is that a conscious thought, or did that just happen and you were like let's just go with it?
So as you said, I'm a writer by profession, and most of my work.
Okay, I didn't know this. So your main job is writing. Like that's what you do.
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
I'm a sports writer.
Sports writer.
Yeah.
What do you write for?
You guys are gonna kill me for this, but my bread and butter is cricket.
It's fine. It's bread and butter. I mean, you have to write something about cricket. I mean, if you want to make any money in India,
basketball is not going to pay you. So
basketball is not going to pay.
So they say one for you, one for me. So the cricket is for those guys. The basketball is for me. So as a writer, most of my work includes how do we get the most number of eyeballs, right? And India, obviously, you combine cricket and then you have Bollywood. So the best way that I thought to get how do you draw attention of people who are not that much into basketball to sort of start watching the sport regularly, and then Bollywood was the answer. It was right, and I mean it sort of stuck with the guys. One of the people just commented on one of my very old videos. It was basketball footage from Koi Mil Gaya, in which I had included background commentary of Lebron doing.
Okay. Kasauli Tigers mein Lebron.
Exactly. So that I mean, I was just going through the insights on Instagram and stuff. They actually genuinely shared content like that, and obviously Lebron is a big guy in India, and that basketball scene from Koi Mil Gaya is iconic, regardless of how bad it is. I mean, there are things that are. Exactly. So content like that actually got in eyeballs. People started watching it, and you sort of get to share a little bit of knowledge with fun, and I think people appreciate that. Also, we're not trying to just do that, right? We're trying to experiment. It's still our whatever it is that we're doing. It's still in the experimental phase. So whatever sticks, whatever works with them, we just continue to do that. Whatever does not, we stop. I mean, there's no.
So when you say we, like, is it you? I know. I've seen another guy. Yeah.
So Pradeep, he is a very good friend of mine. We were school buddies. We used to play together for Haryana. And if there is someone that I've met during my childhood who has an even more who's even more mad than me about basketball, it's him. He knows so much about this game, and he just is very, very passionate about this. So I just thought that why not start a YouTube, whatever it is that we're doing together. And right now he's in Spain. He's there studying, completing his education.
Oh. So he creates those memes from Spain. It looks like an Indian house.
See? So that's the dedication that this guy is bringing to the table, and that's what I appreciate about him. He has been the rock for the channel. This guy continues to sort of put in the hard work, and there are times when I sort of give up or I'm very, very busy with cricket. So that's when he takes over, and I really appreciate whatever he's done for the channel.
More thing that I wanted to say about Bira was like, even though it's sort of seems like the content is aimed at people who don't know NBA or who don't know basketball that much, but you're trying to get them to relate to the game through something that they understand. Like all the conversations I have, I'm completely blown away almost always by how much it talks about what is in the meme and not what the meme is about, or like what the like if it's a clip from Hera Fairy, they don't talk about Hera Fairy. They're talking about what the clip is talking about. So I think that's an amazing job that you guys have done, and you've found some sort of niche which is very difficult for content pages. Yeah. You usually sort of end up catering to people who already know basketball, but you're taking it in a direction where we might.
Yeah, the memes are really funny. I mean, I think I've liked pretty much all the memes that you guys put out. What's your process of coming up with like the meme? Like, do you have a repertoire of like not NBA, Bollywood memes, and then you guys think, okay, this could fit. Like, do you already know these memes? Like, a lot of these things come up and like, oh my god, like how could you like make that connection? I think that's really amazing.
So you will also have to be a movie buff, I believe. It's more of a subconscious homework that you're doing at the back of your head. That
so do you sit and like scroll on the memes? Is that what you do? Like, do you just like
because maybe you saw Hera Fairy maybe 6-7 years ago and you remember that particular scene, and when you exactly, and when you go to that scene, it just fits, right? Because I remember when I was making that particular video, I was just remembering there was this portion in which Paresh Rawal is sort of returning all the debts, right? He's just calling all these guys ki kalana kal sare paise mil jayenge, and that's when this scene happens. It just sort of stopped, and everything that he said was very, very reminiscent with whatever Giannis was going through.
That meme is when I realized that he signed a 1,600 crore contract. Like, I did not put it in those numbers, and he put 1,600. I'm like, 1,600 crore is the business deal for some people. Like that's of a contract. This is just
decade turnover for many MNCs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's another thing that we do. We try to Indianize it as much as possible. Like very, very small things like converting dollars to rupees and stuff like that. It just sort of draws in the kind of people we want.
This is other meme. I don't know. I forgot what it was, but I remember that it was this Shah Rukh Khan getting off the helicopter. But I don't know what the context was.
That was, I think, that lady about the electoral votes or something.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, sorry. No, but maybe you guys also have it. You guys also have it, I think.
I think that's Kyle Kuzma.
Kyle Kuzma. Yeah, right. KCP.
Yeah, exactly. KCP finally showing up during the playoffs, and then Jaya Bachchan, Lebron James doing RP. Like finally,
memes are the best.
Yeah,
I
thought that was very funny.
Not sure if it's related. You have to know whatever it is that you do.
And that scene is also really iconic. Like, I think that scene of him coming, running, and
it's an iconic scene in mother-son relations.
Yes.
And that's what I think. That's I've seen that happen quite a lot with LeBron. Not the mother scene, but as a father figure, wherever he goes. I think some reporter asked Kyrie as well, right? A couple of years ago.
Is he like a father figure?
Exactly. He's not that old. I mean, given his bald spot and whatnot, people just sort of think of him as the father of the team for some reason.
I think one of the best things I've read about this LeBron effect is that LeBron will come into your team, he'll destroy your front office, he'll trade away all your assets, he'll do all that, but he'll take you to the NBA finals. So
Yeah.
if you're willing to do that, then lose all your extra fat. I think that's what LeBron has promised and always delivered.
Always.
Always. Okay. Aditya, we do this thing where we play a little game with our host. I mean, not with host, with our guests, where we do a little this or that sort of questions. Vineet, do you have questions ready? Or
Always.
Always. Oh, what a guy. Then I will let you only go for it.
Oh no! You should go first. You always go first, my friend.
Okay. I'll go first. Like video podcasts or audio podcasts?
What?
Mm. Video podcast,
Video podcasts. Okay.
because then you can also have the audio.
Oh wow. Damn.
You just stole our idea, huh? Okay. If you were stranded in an island, which NBA player would you want to be stranded with?
This took a very weird turn for some reason.
Learn basketball. To escape, maybe, I don't know, to save you from the.
Like if you had to play basketball to save your life, right? Well, of course, Lebron. Yeah, he has sort of survived by doing what a lot of people thought was not possible. So why not?
Fair enough.
Okay. This question is for this season. Giannis or KD as the leader of your team?
KD, definitely. One, I was actually wondering the other day what would happen if Giannis and KD go to face each other, and I think KD, other than the defensive bit, KD would sort of destroy them, and also he makes the team a lot more open, gives them a lot more options. Giannis.
I don't know if you know this, Aditya, but Giannis, I think he went 13th in the draft, and the person who went before him was Steven Adams. Like OKC had a chance to draft Giannis that year, but it did not happen.
I mean, sure, Giannis is a great player, but he just sort of limits your offense a lot when you're comparing him to KD.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely agree. Yeah.
Giannis is great otherwise. Okay, Vineet, yo.
This is my standard question: Tim Duncan or Kobe Bryant? Better career.
You asked this to Bruce Bowen as well, right?
I ask it to everybody. I just want people to say Tim Duncan all the time.
Tim Duncan or Kobe Bryant? Oh, damn,
Yeah.
Kobe.
Better career.
Better career. Kobe.
Still good.
सबसे सही जवाब.
Yeah.
And last question, like if you wanted to have a point guard on a team for your life, like your life is on the line. Okay, James Harden or Steph Curry?
Curry. Definitely.
Curry.
Yeah.
I guess death is
My last question.
okay.
Who are your top 5 players of all
Don't
time?
do that to me now, man.
Come on, top 5 players of all time. You should always have your top 5 players of all time. On
All
your
time
fingertips.
or like current NBA? You want all time?
All time. Current NBA में कौन है? We know the current NBA, man. It's like 5 people.
I'm guessing सबका same ही होगा.
सबका same है, man.
All time. Shaq.
Shaq. Whoa.
Why is this echoing?
Shaq.
Okay.
Shaq. Kobe.
Kobe.
LeBron. Magic.
Magic.
And one more guy. Duncan.
Duncan. MJ? No MJ?
I mean, where would you put him instead of Kobe?
Oh.
Wow. Unexpected answer and much respect.
He kept this for the last. He kept his Kobe passion till the end, and then he unleashed it. Kobe's better than MJ.
I am pretty sure you were not chatting with him when he said, I used to like Kobe, but not anymore. I'm sure it was
Maybe the other guy.
the other guy.
Because our time zones also are the same, right?
That's what you told me, right? That somebody was commenting and said that I don't like Kobe anymore. So I could not actually recollect what was happening. So
Anyways, that's it for the show. I mean, Aditya, thank you so much, man, for spending an hour with us. This is absolutely refreshing. We love your page, huge fans of your page, and people
Huge fans.
please go and follow the Instagram page. You will Learn
NBA dab. It's
NBA
dab.
dab. We will link it in the description, and we'll have something here.
Like
On your face?
On my face. Let them go follow my face then if they missed the other one. Anyway, yes, that's it. Audience, please like, share, subscribe, listen to us on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, wherever you've listened to your podcast at, and see it, because we'll also be on YouTube. This one will be on YouTube. Little pixelated, my faces, but both other boys are pretty handsome people, so there'll be no issues. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. We need to say bye.
Bye. Bye.